Hello everyone. Now see what is pure substance, and also we'll see the properties of pure substance. Now what is pure substance? How we can define this pure substance? We can say a pure substance is a system which is it has to satisfy three conditions. The first condition is the substance should be homogeneous in its composition. It should be homogeneous in chemical aggregation. Then third condition, invariable in chemical aggregation. Okay. Now what these three conditions are? When these three conditions will be satisfied by any substance, that will be a pure substance. For example, suppose we are having a container. In this container, we have kept some water. Also, this container has steam. So half part steam, half part water. Now let's see these three conditions will get satisfied or not. Now here there is steam. So what is chemical composition? H2O. For this liquid water, it is H2O. So for chemical composition is same throughout this vessel. So this condition gets satisfied. What about second condition? Homogeneous in chemical aggregation. So these two substances means liquid water and vapor has same chemical aggregation. If you see here H2O molecule, here H2O molecule. So chemical aggregation is also same. Here, suppose I'm having water here, which is H2O, and here I'm having hydrogen gas molecule plus half oxygen molecule. Here also H2O, here also H2O, but this is a mixture. Here the chemical aggregation is not same, right? Here chemical aggregation is same for both. Here there is H2O molecule, here there is H2O molecule, but the phase difference is there. Okay, phase difference is allowed. The pure, if it is pure substance, if this is pure substance and there is phase difference, that is okay. It will be a pure substance. Okay, water will be a pure substance, but this is water and this H2 plus half O2 is not water. Chemical aggregation is not same. So second condition is not satisfied. Here first and second condition is satisfied, right? Here first condition is satisfied. Chemical composition is same. Here H2O and here H2O, but chemical aggregation is not there. So second condition is not satisfied, right? Let's take another example. Suppose I'm having a vessel. Here in this vessel, suppose here I'm having a water. Now here H2 plus O2. Now here you can see the first condition is also not satisfied, because here I'm having H2O and here I'm having H2O2, right? H2O2. Even it will not follow the first condition. Okay. So here we can say this is a pure substance. A pure substance can appear in different phases. Okay. Even if this is, let's say, ice, here we are having water vapors, and here we are having liquid water, then combinedly we can say that is a pure substance. Okay. Also, there is one important thing. We can say the mixture of different gases having uniform chemical aggregation. Mixture of different gases having uniform chemical aggregation, that also will be a pure substance. For example, we are having air here. Air is what? Mixture of gases. Mixture of gases. If you take a sample of air from any point, if you see the chemical aggregation is uniform here. Chemical aggregation is uniform here. Chemical aggregation is uniform here. Okay, density will be same everywhere. So we can say air is also pure substance. Okay, what H2 percentage this sample has, the same H2 percentage this sample will have. What oxygen percentage this sample will have, the same oxygen percentage this sample will have. Okay, so chemically it is aggregated, chemically it is homogeneous, so we can say air can be a pure substance, right? So this is about pure substance. We have already studied the phase change theory of water. So let's revise that phase change theory. We are seeing formation of water in last lecture. So we have studied one diagram, temperature versus heat addition. So we are seeing that when heat is added, let's say we are going to add heat from 0 degrees Celsius. So when heat is added, temperature increases. If it is liquid at 0 degrees Celsius, temperature will increase. Temperature will increase up to its saturation point. So this is saturation point. What is saturation point? It is nothing but a boiling point at that particular pressure. Okay, how much is the pressure? Let's say pressure is P. Let's say here pressure is P. Now here up to boiling point, the temperature will increase. To increase that temperature, how much heat is added? HF amount of heat is added. Okay, what is HF? What is HF? It is sensible heat of water, right? Sensible heat of water. To increase, when the temperature will increase, we say it is sensible heat. When phase will change, we say it is latent heat. Okay, so when temperature will increase, what we have provided? We have provided sensible heat. So this is HF, which is sensible heat. So HF amount of heat is provided to increase temperature from 0 degrees Celsius to boiling point or saturation point, we say. Okay, at pressure P, this is constant pressure line. So from this point, now here temperature is how much? Temperature is T saturated, means boiling point. Suppose the pressure is 1 atmosphere, that is sea level pressure. What will be the T saturation value? We know at sea level, water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. So T saturated will be 100 degrees Celsius. If the pressure is 2 bar, then around 121.2 degrees Celsius water will boil. I am having steam table where we can see the boiling point at various pressure. Here you can see. You can see here. If the boiling point is Yes. If the boiling point is 1.1, the water will boil at 102.3 degrees Celsius. Okay. If this pressure, this absolute pressure is 1.01325 bar, which is 1 atmosphere or which is sea level pressure, water will boil at 100 degrees Celsius. Okay, between this. Okay, 1.01325 bar. Okay, at 1.0, 99.6. Suppose in Pune, the atmospheric pressure is 0.95. Then water will boil at 98.2. The atmospheric pressure in Pune is always less than sea level pressure. So water boils less than 100 degrees Celsius, a temperature less than 100 degrees Celsius. Okay, at 99 or 98.5, at that temperature, water will boil in Pune. Okay, at different cities, the atmospheric pressure values are different. So boiling point is also different at various location on Earth. Okay. If you have to see the boiling point at 2 bar, here you can see this is 2 bar. So boiling point at 2 bar is 120.2. If pressure is 5 bar, water will boil at 151.8. Okay, so this way we can read steam table and we will know at various pressure what will be the boiling point or what will be the saturation point. We also call boiling point or saturation point. So we provide HF to increase temperature from 0 to is boiling point. Now here we are having liquid. At this point we are having liquid. Now we have to change the phase of this liquid. To change the phase, we have to add HFG. HFG. I'm using notation F for liquid, FG for mixture, liquid plus gas. Okay, G for gas. So when I will provide HFG, which is latent heat of vaporization. So latent heat of vaporization I'm going to provide. When we provide latent heat of vaporization 100%, the phase will change 100%. So here phase had changed. Now it was liquid, it is now gas. Now here at this point it is 100% gas. We say it is dry saturated condition. This is saturated and this is dry saturated. The steam is 100% dry at this position or at this point. If you extract some heat at this point, the point will come here. Point will come here. Okay. So at this point, that steam will have some moisture. But if some heat is given again it will reach at this point and that moisture will convert into steam. So here at this point, we will have 100% dry steam. Okay, moisture is not present. At this point, it is 100% liquid. At this point, it is 100% steam, dry steam. Beyond this point, if we add heat, then what happens? Again, temperature will increase. Suppose we have to increase temperature up to 150 degrees Celsius, which is our desired temperature or requirement. Okay, suppose our requirement is 150 degrees Celsius at pressure P. Okay, here pressure is constant. This is constant pressure lines. And we have to reach up to 150 degrees Celsius from this boiling point. So again, we have to add a sensible heat here. So we are going to add a sensible heat, that is H superheated Now see, here we are having a boiling point, right? T saturated, T saturated. Temperature is T saturated at this point. Now we have to increase temperature from T saturated to 150 degrees Celsius. T saturated to 150 degrees Celsius. For example, at pressure 2 bar, absolute 2 bar, the boiling point is 120.2. As we have seen that in steam table, it is 120.2 degrees Celsius. So from 120.2 degrees Celsius, we have to increase it up to 150 degrees Celsius. Means we have to increase temperature by 29.8 degrees Celsius. So delta T is 29.8 degrees Celsius. To increase that temperature, again we have to add a sensible heat, that is nothing but H superheated, and we say it is sensible heat of steam. Sensible heat of steam, that we can say, or okay, just say sensible heat of a steam, or we can say here enthalpy of superheated vapor. Fine. We can say enthalpy of superheated vapor. This H sup. So finally, to reach at 150 degrees Celsius from 0 degrees Celsius, how much total heat is given? The total heat is given, that is H total is equal to HF plus HFG plus H sup. Right? But if we are at this point, suppose at this point, if we want to calculate the enthalpy, or if you want to calculate the total heat addition up to this point, from 0 to this point, then how to calculate? Now see, from 0 to T saturated, this is T saturated, but not here, not here, at the middle. Okay. To reach up to this point, from this point, how much HFG we have provided? We have provided 100% HFG from this point to this point. This point is at the middle. So to reach at the middle, you have to provide 50% HFG. So from 0 to T saturated, from this point, how much heat we have provided? We have provided T, we have provided HF plus we have provided 50% HFG. To reach up to this point, we have provided HF plus 50% HFG. Can I write it like this? HF plus half HFG. Right? I have provided half HFG or 50% HFG. So at this point, 50% liquid has evaporated or boiled, and 50% is yet to be boiled. 50% is boiled, 50% is not yet boiled. Okay, so there is 50% moisture and 50% moisture and 50% gas or steam. 50% moisture, 50% steam. So I'm using X. I'm using X notation to define how much percentage of liquid has been evaporated, has been boiled. So if this X is 0.9, means 90% steam is evaporated, right? If X is 0.5, that is 50%, 50% water has boiled. Okay. In this case, how much HFG we have to provide? How much HFG we have to provide? We have to provide 90% HFG of total HFG. Okay, of this total HFG, we have to provide 90% HFG. Then only the 90% water will boil and X will be 0.9 in that case. Okay, one more example. X is equal to 0.7 means 70% it has steam and 30% it has moisture. Okay, so do you got this formula? Hg is equal to Hf plus X HFG. So we will use this formula in calculation part. If X is equal to 1 means 100% HFG provided, the formula will be Hf, formula will be Hg is equal to Hf plus HFG. In that case, X is equal to 1. We say this X is what? Dryness fraction. Dryness fraction. Out of the quantity, how much percent of steam, how much percent of water is dry? How much percent of water is a steam? Okay, that is denoted by X. As I said before, if it is 50% means 50% of water is dry and 50% is moisture present. So this way we can read this. Now let's understand the important terms relating to steam formation. What are these important terms? So first we are seeing that is sensible heat of water. It is denoted by HFG. Sorry, HF. It is denoted by HF. Then latent heat or heat of vaporization, that is HFG. Then we have studied recently dryness fraction denoted by X. If we see the formula, X is equal to mass of steam divided by the total mass, that is mass of steam plus mass of moisture, right? Suppose we are having a container. In this container there is suppose 60% or let's say 60 ml of water is there, and 30 ml water has vaporized. So here we can see the mass, or just say the volume 30. Here 30 plus 60, so 30 plus 90, it will be 1 by 3. So it has 33.33%, or X is equal to 0.3333. So we can say it has 33.33% steam and remaining is moisture. Okay. Then enthalpy of wet steam. If you want to calculate enthalpy of wet steam, suppose you have to calculate enthalpy of this enthalpy of pure substance present in this container, okay, which has dryness fraction X. So recently I have used formula, I have tell you the formula HF plus HFG. This formula we can use, and here we have to multiply it by X. So we have to calculate Hg. Hg is equal to HF, whatever will be the value HF, plus X value will be this, okay, 0.33 and HFG. So this will be the formula. for this x, then volume of wet and dry steam, volume of wet and dry steam. So here volume of 1 kg of, let's say, volume of 1 kg of dry steam is, or let's say wet steam, volume of 1 kg of wet steam is equal to volume of dry steam plus volume of water. Simple. You can see this is wet steam, right? 30%, sorry, 33.33% steam, and remaining is moisture. So combinedly, we say it is a wet steam. It is a wet steam. And what is volume of, what is total volume of this pure substance, of this water? That is 30 plus 60. Volume of dry steam, that is 30 ml, plus volume of water, right? That is 60 ml. So total will be 90. How to find out volume of dry steam? It has, let's say, suppose this example, it has, let's say, 33.33% steam. So 0.3333 into total volume, let's say it is Vg, total volume is, let's say, Vg, plus the volume of water, the remaining is 0. Whatever it will be, 1 minus 0.3333, right? Means 1 minus 0.3333, that will be the percentage of water. We write F for water or liquid, we write G for gas. Okay, this is about steam, so we have written Vg here. This is about water, liquid water, so we have used Vf here. Okay, so that's the formula. General formula is, this is what x Vg plus this is what 1 minus x Vf. So this way we can find out volume of 1 kg of wet steam. Fine. So this formula you have to use to find out volume of 1 kg wet steam. Now how to find out the volume of superheated steam? Let's find out volume of superheated steam. Volume of superheated steam. So what volume you have to find out actually? See here. This is 0 degrees Celsius. This is T saturated. Here latent heat is provided. So from this point to this point, latent heat is provided. And then from this point to this point here, let's say, for example, 150 degrees Celsius. So up to this point, we have added heat. We have added heat. So here we have provided HF, HFG, and H sup, H superheated. Enthalpy of superheated steam from this point to this point. Now at this point, how much is the volume? That we have to find out. Okay. Recently we have found out at this point how much is the volume, right? Now at this point, how much is the volume? How to calculate that volume? That we have to see. Now see. How we can find out this? Using ideal gas law, we can find out. How? we know that PVG by T saturated. I'm talking about this point. Okay, at this point, if we apply the ideal gas law, then it will be N, it will be like this. Okay, N and R is constant. It is at this point also, we can say P volume here is, let's say, V sub. Here, let's say the volume is V sub. And temperature there is, let's say, T sub. Here it is T saturated, here it is T sub. So here I'm going to write T sub is equal to NR, right? This N is constant, this N is constant. Number of moles at this point and number of moles at this point is constant. The same substance we are heating up. Okay, R for water, R for water. So NR and NR is constant. So left side, right side is constant, right side is same. So we can compare this and it will be PVG upon TS is equal to PV sub upon T sub. What we have to calculate? We have to calculate volume of superheated steam. So here we are having volume of superheated steam V sub. So it can be write it like this. Here PP will get cancelled because it is a heating process happening at constant pressure. So PP will get cancelled. So here we can write T sub upon Ts into Vg. So that will be the formula. Now let's see the entropy of water. Entropy of water. How to calculate the entropy of water? We know the general formula for entropy. ds is equal to dq by t. That's the formula. We have to calculate entropy of water. It means where the water is present from 0 degrees Celsius liquid to saturation point, we are having water here. So during 0 degrees Celsius to Tsat, what entropy has increased? That we have to calculate. What entropy has changed? That we have to calculate. So by using this formula, we can calculate ds. We can calculate entropy of water. So we know that ds is equal to dq by t, which we can write like this: Cpw into t divided by t. Here it will be delta t divided by t. So I have written dq is equal to Cpw delta t. dq is what? Cpw delta t per unit mass. Cpw is constant, so Cpw I have written constant outside. Now integrate this ds. So when I will integrate this ds from 0 degrees Celsius to Tsat, from 0 degrees Celsius to Tsat. So what we will get? Cpw is constant, and here let's say T1 to T2. T1 is how much? 0 degrees Celsius. 0 degrees Celsius. T2 is Tsat. So dt by dt is integrated. So what I'm getting? Cpw log to the base e Tsat divided by 0 degrees Celsius means what? 273. So this formula I'm getting. This formula I am getting for SF, that is entropy of water. Okay, so you have to remember this formula. Entropy of evaporation. How to calculate the entropy of evaporation? Now here you can see the water will evaporate in this region from this point to this point, water will evaporate. And to evaporate the water, we have provided HFG amount of heat. We have provided HFG amount of heat. So that I am going to write here. So we have to find out entropy. That is again ds. Then use that general formula. ds is equal to dq by t. So here, if we integrate ds from S1 to S2, and if we integrate dq by t from, now you see here, temperature is how much at this point? T sat. At this point, temperature is T sat. So temperature is constant. So can we take this T out? 1 by T integrate dq. Now here Q is nothing but HFG. How much heat we have provided? We have provided HFG amount of heat. So at this point, we have started adding heat, and how much heat we have provided up to this point? HFG amount of heat we have provided. So I'm, instead of this, I'm going to write 1 by T integration HFG. Fine. This is small HFG. So when we integrate this, what we are getting? 1 by T HFG. So finally we are getting here HFG divided by T. This T is what? T saturated. Right? So we have got here S2 minus S1 is this. So by using this formula, we can calculate entropy of evaporation. Right? dq is HFG, Q is HFG, dq is DHFG, DHFG. We integrate DHFG, we have got HFG. So HFG divided by T, that is nothing but S2 minus S1, entropy of evaporation. Fine. Now let's see the phase change terminology. Phase change terminology. To understand this phase change terminology, in last lecture, we had studied one diagram. Let's draw one PV diagram now. On this PV diagram, I am going to draw a saturated line, saturated liquid line, and saturated vapor line. And this is CP, which is critical point. What is critical point? A point at which the latent heat is zero. To change the phase, what heat is required? That is zero at this point. This is what? Saturated liquid line. This is saturated vapor line. And where this saturated liquid line and saturated vapor line intersect, that point is nothing but CP. That is critical point. Right? This is what? Wet region. Here in this region, steam plus moisture is present. This is superheated region. We have already studied this. And this is subcooled region. So at the left of this saturated liquid line, we are having subcooled region. At the right of saturated vapor line, we are having superheated region. And in between saturated liquid line and saturated vapor line, we are having wet region. So here, what phases exist? Here, liquid plus gas. Here only gas. Here only liquid. Okay, only liquid. Right? Now, like this diagram, we are having many property diagram that we will study in upcoming lectures. Property diagrams. I will just show you the nature of that property diagram, which we use, which we are having in common use. The first diagram that we are seeing here, that is PV diagram. It looks like this. Okay, it is like this. So here we are having CP. Okay, there is one another diagram that we use for analysis of steam formation. That is TS diagram, temperature versus entropy diagram. Which is also important diagram. It looks like this. Right? The same curve I had drawn here, in same properties I have plotted here. On TS diagram, it will look like this. This curve will be look like this on TS diagram. Then I will draw pH diagram. That is pressure versus enthalpy. Pressure versus enthalpy. It will look like this. The same curve will look like this on TS diagram. Right? And the important diagram, that is HS, which is Mollier chart or Mollier diagram. It look like this. Sorry, here CP. Okay. Now we will see how to read a steam table. Now we are having a steam table on which various pressure and temperature value, vapor pressure and vapor temperature values are mentioned, and at that values, what are the various enthalpy and entropy values, volume values that are mentioned. So that we have to study. So here I am having a steam table. See, some symbols and units are mentioned here. T for temperature, TS for saturation temperature. So small TS that we are using for saturation temperature. P is for pressure, HF for specific enthalpy at saturated liquid. So this is sensible heat of water. We also call it as enthalpy of saturated liquid. Then HFG is specific enthalpy of evaporation. Then HG, specific enthalpy of saturated vapor. So various terms are given here that we need to know when we read steam table. Some formulas are also given. Now see how to read a steam table. Table 1, that is saturated water and steam table, temperature table. So on this table, what they have given? They have given temperature and absolute pressure values. So this temperature is saturation temperature, and this is absolute pressure. So when temperature is 0, at what pressure water will boil? That value is given. If temperature is 0 degrees Celsius, If temperature is 0 degrees Celsius, then water will boil at 0.0061 bar pressure. So water will boil at 100 degrees Celsius. When it will boil at 100 degrees Celsius, see here, when pressure is 1.01325 bar, then only water will boil at 100 degrees Celsius. If pressure is less than 1.01325 bar, then water will not boil at 100 degrees Celsius, but less than 100 degrees Celsius. See here, if you want to boil pressure at 50 degrees Celsius, 50 degrees Celsius, then pressure should be 0.1235 there. Okay, we have to maintain this much pressure, this much vacuum pressure. Okay, which is very much less than atmospheric pressure, if you see. And if you want to boil water at 0 degrees Celsius, 0 degrees Celsius, then we have to maintain pressure 0.0061. Suppose in Pune, the temperature is 30 degrees Celsius. Suppose in Pune, the temperature is 30 degrees Celsius. And at this temperature, if you want to boil water, means we want boiling point of water is 30. Saturation temperature is 30. You have to boil water at 30 degrees Celsius. So we have to lower down temperature up to 0.0425 to do so. Okay. Now see, the various values are given here. At this saturation temperature and saturation pressure, various values are given. At this saturation temperature and this saturation pressure, how much is the sensible heat of water? That value is given. At this condition, when saturation temperature is 0 and saturation pressure is 0.0061, how much enthalpy that liquid will have, that water will have, that value is given minus 0.02. How much will be the HFG required to change the phase? That is given 25014. And addition, HF plus HFG, that addition is given here 2501. Here the value is minus 0.02. Means we have to provide this much, means it will exert this much 0.02 heat. If pressure is 1 bar, now you see how much HF is required, 4.2. How much HFG is required, 2499. 2499. Total is 2499 plus 4.2, that is given here. Now the pressure is 6 bar. 6 bar. How much HF is given? We have to require 25.2. This much heat that we have to provide from 0 degrees Celsius to boiling point, to reach up to boiling point. Boiling point is how much? 6 degrees Celsius is the boiling point. So from 0 degrees Celsius to 6 degrees Celsius, if you want to increase temperature, then we have to provide 25.2 degrees Celsius, 25.2 kilojoule per kg, that much heat. Okay. And to change the phase at 6 degrees Celsius, to change the phase, to boil the water, how much heat we have to provide? 2487.2. This much latent heat we have to provide. This much HFG we have to provide. Okay, 2487.2 kilojoule per kg. That much enthalpy or that much heat we have to provide. Total is given here. Now, if you see carefully, the HF value is increasing if boiling pressure increases. If saturation temperature is increasing or boiling pressure is increasing, this HF value also will increase. At the same time, HFG value is decreasing. See, here it is 2501. Okay, and here it is 2499, 2496, 2494. So as this saturation pressure is increasing or saturation temperature is increasing, this HFG value is decreasing and HF value is increasing. It means at higher pressure, we require more HF or more sensible heat to increase the temperature. Means temperature increases, this sensible heat required to raise the temperature will increase. And if the pressure will increase, the latent heat required to change the phase of a substance that will decrease. And it will be zero at critical point. It will be zero at critical point. We are seeing that table. See, so if we draw some diagram here, suppose this is pressure 20 bar. Okay, this is 20 bar pressure. So at 20 bar, how much HFG is required? This much HFG is required, right? If pressure is, let's say 100 bar, how much HFG is required? This much HFG is required. Now see, when pressure is equal to 20 bar, this much HFG is required. When pressure is equal to 100 bar, this much HFG is required. Now you can see the less, this much less HFG is required, right? This much less HFG is required. Why? Because pressure is higher. When pressure is very much higher and it will reach up to CP, up to critical point, at this point, you see this is just a point. Okay, this is line, right? So this line denotes HFG, but this is a point. Point has no length. So no HFG. No HFG is required to change the phase. So at critical point, both liquid and gaseous phase coexist. Fine. So what is that critical point pressure? That we will know using this steam table. So we are using table 2 for this. On table 2, what is given? Saturated water and steam pressure table. Okay, so pressure values are given here. Temperature values are given first in table 1, and at this temperature, how much pressure is required to boil water at this temperature? At 6 degrees Celsius, if you want to boil water, how much pressure is required? Vapor pressure is required. That value is given here. Okay. Here, what they have given? If the pressure is 0.006113, what should be the temperature at which the water will boil? Let's say pressure is 1 bar. If the pressure is 1 bar, which is generally having pressure in Pune, so at 1 bar water will boil at 99.6 degrees Celsius, right? In Himalaya, suppose the pressure is 0.70. In Himalaya somewhere, if the pressure above that hilly area, in that hilly area, if the pressure is 0.70 absolute, then water will boil at 90 degrees Celsius. So water will boil early, and that food inside the pressure cooker will get less heat. So that's why we have to use a pressure cooker. We pressurize liquid inside the pressure cooker, and when we pressurize, suppose the pressure, atmospheric pressure in Himalaya is 0.70, and we are using pressure cooker. So in pressure cooker, pressure is around 1.5 or 2 bar. Let's say 1.5. So boiling point will increase up to 111. Naturally, if we boil in an open vessel, the pressure will be 0.70. In open vessel, rice will not get cooked well, or that food will not get cooked well, because saturation temperature is 90 degrees Celsius. Now what, at 90 degrees Celsius water will boil, and if we increase the pressure inside, water will boil at 111.3. So for more time we are providing heat, so that that food will get cooked well, right? So this way we can read this steam table. Other some values also given. See, if pressure is 4 bar, at 4 bar we have to boil the water, then its boiling point will be 143.6. Boiling temperature will be 143.6. If the pressure inside the vessel is 5 bar, water will boil at 151.8 degrees Celsius. Suppose we have to boil water at 50 bar, then temperature should be 263.9 degrees Celsius. Suppose you have to boil water at, let's say, 350 degrees Celsius. Here somewhere we will have value. Yes, 350.3. Suppose you have to boil water at 350.3. Then pressure required is 166 bar for that particular vessel. So this way we can read this steam table, and various values that also we have to read. See how I will read this steam table. Now suppose I am having a boiler in which the water is fed and we have to generate a steam, and our requirement is we require pressure 20 bar and we require suppose saturated steam. So at 20 bar water will boil at 212.4 degrees Celsius. Water will boil at 2124 degrees Celsius. So when pressure is 20 bar and saturation temperature or boiling temperature is 212.4, at this condition, okay, steam has pressure 20 bar and temperature 212.4. At this condition, what will be the HF value it will have? It will have HF value 908.6. It has HFG 188.6. If the steam is saturated, then it will have enthalpy 2797.2. Addition of this means from 0 degrees Celsius to 212.4, 0 degrees Celsius to 212.4, we have to provide this much heat. From 212.4 liquid to 212.4 gas, we have to provide this much heat. Are you getting? From 0 degrees Celsius to TS. From 0 degrees Celsius to TS. From 0 degrees Celsius to 212.4. We have to provide this much heat, 908.6. And from 212.4 liquid to 212.4 gas. Liquid to gas. 212.4 liquid to 212.4 gas. Change the phase. We have to provide 1888.6. This much heat we have to provide. So from 0 degrees Celsius liquid to 212.4 gas, how much heat we have to provide? This plus this. That is nothing but Hg. Right? So this way we can read steam table. Also we can read entropy value from 0 degrees Celsius to 212.4 when we increase the temperature. From 0 degrees Celsius to 212.4 liquid. 0 degrees Celsius liquid to 212.4 liquid. When we increase the temperature, the entropy will increase by 2.4469 kilojoule per kg Kelvin. From 212.4 liquid to 212.4 gas, how much entropy will generate? 3.8898. This much entropy will generate. It means combinedly, if we combine this, we are getting this value. It means from 0 degrees Celsius liquid to 212.4 gas, how much total entropy has increased? 6.3366. This much. Now see this specific volume. Here I will show you. For another example, I will show you. Let's say 40 degrees Celsius. Sorry, 40 bar. At 40 bar, water will boil at 250.3 degrees Celsius. It means from 0 degrees Celsius to 250.3 liquid, the volume will increase by 0.001252. See, This is volume of liquid, because from 0 degree Celsius to 250.3 degree Celsius, we are having a liquid. 0 degree Celsius liquid to 250.3 degree Celsius liquid. In this range, we are having a liquid. So how much volume has increased? 0.001252. This much volume has increased. Right? Now, from 250.3 liquid to 250.3 gas, how much volume has increased? Volume is increased by 0.00497. Okay, this value is higher. Vg value is higher. 0.0497. This much volume will increase. Okay, here I will show you how to read this steam table and how to write the various values. Now understand these steam table values with one example. Let's take example of 50 bar. The vapor pressure is suppose 50 bar. P is equal to 50 bar. At 50 bar, how much is the saturation temperature? How much is the boiling point? It is 263.9. So Tsat or Ts, we can use Ts also. Okay, you can use Ts also. Here they have used Ts. T saturated is how much? 263.9 degrees Celsius. So what we have to write? At P is equal to 50 bar and Ts is equal to 263.9 degrees Celsius. What are the enthalpy values? And what are the entropy values? That we have to write. What enthalpy value we have to write? We have to write HF value. We have to write HFG value. Here we have to write SF value and SFG value. Okay. And X is equal to 1 here. Means it is 100% dry steam. Means 100% HFG is provided. 100% HFG is provided. So here we have to write 100% HFG. What value is given there? HFG value. That value as it is we have to write. If X is equal to, let's say, 0.5, so what value is given in steam table? Half of that value we have to write here. Okay. Now let's read HF value first. At P is equal to 50 bar and Ts 263.9 degrees Celsius. So see here, at 50 bar, Ts is 263.9. At 50 bar, HF value is 1.1545. Sorry, it is 1154.5. So that I'm going to write here 1154.5 kilojoule per kg. This is specific enthalpy. Specific means per kg, how much kilojoule? That value we have written. 1154.5. What this enthalpy is? From 0 degrees Celsius liquid to 263.9 degrees Celsius liquid. How much heat we have to provide? 1154.5. Okay, this much HF we have to provide. Okay, kilojoule per kg. Now we are having 263.9 degrees Celsius liquid. Okay, but we are talking about X is equal to 1. Dryness fraction is 1, means it is fully dry. But it is fully liquid now. So we have to make it fully dry. To make it fully dry, we have to change its phase, means 263.9 degrees Celsius liquid to 263.9 degrees Celsius gas. So this is what? Phase change. Phase change. This is change in temperature. So this is temperature change, this is phase change. For temperature change, we provide HF, that is sensible heat. For phase change, we provide latent heat, that is HFG. And how much HFG we are providing here? On steam table, we have to read that value. At 50 bar, at 263.9 T saturation temperature, we have to provide 1639.7, this much heat to change the phase. 1639.7 kilojoule per kg, this much HFG we have to provide, this much latent heat we have to provide. Okay, this is sensible heat and this is latent heat. Okay, so what is our journey from 0 degree Celsius liquid to boiling point liquid, boiling point liquid to boiling point gas, right? So this is our journey. So from 0 degree Celsius to 263.9 gas, how much heat we have provided? HF plus HFG, so total, and total is given here. Total is given here, 2794.2. 2794.2 kilojoule per kg. Okay, which is called Hg. Okay, that is HF plus HFG. HF plus HFG we have written here. Okay, now that is this value we will get for x is equal to 1. But suppose we have not provided total HFG, we have not provided total HFG, that is 1639.7 kilojoule per kg, but we have provided, let's say 60% HFG, means x will be 0.6. It means there will be 60% steam, 40% moisture present, because we have provided 60% HFG. So in that case, the same values will be like this. Now, what is our condition? P is equal to 50 bar. TS is equal to 263.9. See here, the same values I have written here. Same values I have written below. And but here x is equal to 1. I am using x is equal to 0.6. X is equal to 1 means it is fully dry. X is equal to 0.6 means it is 60% dry, 40% moisture present. So 60% steam, 40% moisture. Why 40% moisture? Because we have provided 60% HHG, 60% heat of vaporization. So only 60% liquid will boil. Remaining is yet to be boiled, because we have remaining 40% HFG is not provided yet. When we will provide that remaining 40% HFG, that 40% liquid also will get vaporized. But at this condition, when we say x is equal to 0.6, we have provided still 60% HFG only. So let's read HF value. HF value, that is from 0 degrees Celsius to 263.9 degrees Celsius. From 0 degrees Celsius to 263.9 degrees Celsius. How much heat we have provided? Here it is liquid, here it is liquid. How much heat we have provided? We have provided HF. Again the same value, that is 1154.5 kilojoule per kg, right? We have reached up to this point. After this point, how much HFG we have provided? 263.9 degrees Celsius liquid to 263.9 degree Celsius. Here we are not having fully gas. Okay, here we are having 0.5 steam we can say, and 0.5 moisture. Okay, what I have written here? 1G, right? 1G. Only I have written G, means 1G. Means 100% G. But here 50% G we are having. 50% steam we are having. And 50% moisture we are having. Sorry, 60%, 0.6. I'm sorry, 0.6 and here 0.4. 0.6% steam, sorry, 60% steam and 40% moisture. 0.6 steam, 0.4 moisture. Okay. So to get 0.6 steam or 60% steam, how much heat we have to provide? 60% HFG we have to provide. It means 0.6 HFG we have to provide. Okay, which is nothing but 0.6 into how much is the HFG value here for 50? 1639.7. 1639.7. So by calculation we will know this. What is the value? You have to perform this calculation. You just give me answer in comment. And combinedly, what is HG, HF plus HFG? It is nothing but, here we have to write X. So HF is how much? 1154.5 plus X is 0.6 into HFG value is 1639.7. So you just give me answer in comment. So here what value we will get? That value is for this condition. What's the condition? Pressure is 50 bar, saturation temperature is 263.9, and steam is 60% dry. Okay, if steam is fully dry, we will get that steam will have this enthalpy. Now here steam is not fully dry, it is wet steam. If moisture is present in a steam, we say it is wet steam. If moisture is not present, 100% dry, then we say it is dry saturated. We say it is dry saturated. And if temperature is beyond saturation temperature, for example, in this example, if P is equal to 50 bar and T is greater than T sat, that is, let's say 300 degrees Celsius, then in this case we say steam is superheated. Okay, if we increase temperature from 0 to boiling point gas, 0 to boiling point gas, then how much heat we have to provide? HF plus HFG. And if you want to increase up to 300 degrees Celsius, then we have to provide HF plus HFG plus to reach up to this temperature. So that example I will show you. Now see, what's the condition? The pressure that we have to maintain, that is 50 bar. Pressure should be 50 bar. And the temperature should be 300 degrees Celsius. So this is what? Superheated steam. Why it is superheated steam? Because at pressure 50 bar, water boils at 50 bar. Water boils at, see, instant table you have to see, at 50 bar, water boils at 263.9. Water boils at 263.9 degrees Celsius. At 50 bar, water boils at 263.9 degrees Celsius. And we have to reach up to 300 degrees Celsius. It means if we draw the graph from 0 to 263, this is T versus H, 263.9 degrees Celsius, from 0 degrees Celsius to 263.9 degrees Celsius. We have to provide HF up to this point. From this point, which is liquid point, this is liquid point. from this point to gas point. This is what 263.9 degrees Celsius, 263.9 degrees Celsius. But phase will change now. L to G. L to G. So we have provided HFG to do so. Right? We have provided HFG to change the phase from liquid to gas at temperature 263.9. But beyond this point, again we have to change the temperature up to 300 degrees Celsius. Up to this point, let's say 300 degrees Celsius. This point is what? 300 degrees Celsius. Okay. Up to this point, we have to increase temperature. So some more heat we have to provide. How much more? H soup amount of heat we have to provide. This much extra amount of heat we have to provide. Right? It means from boiling point, we have to increase temperature up to 300 degrees Celsius. So we have to increase temperature by 300 minus T sat. What is our T sat here? 300 minus 263.9. How much it is? 36.1 degrees Celsius. 36.1. So delta T is 36.1. So we have to increase temperature by 36.1 after boiling point. So some more heat is that we have to provide to reach up to 30 degrees Celsius. So our final or total enthalpy will be HF plus HFG plus H superheated, right? This plus this plus this. So we know the HF value from steam table. We know HF value from steam table 50. 263, here 1154.5. 1154.5 plus how much is the HFG? 1639.7. 1639.7 plus we have to provide H soup. Now how to calculate this H soup? If we know the specific heat of vapor, that is CPS, then we can calculate H soup. H soup is how much? T soup. This is 300 degrees Celsius. That is, we denoted it by T soup. So T soup minus T sat, saturation temperature, boiling point temperature. So from boiling point temperature, we have increased temperature up to 300 degrees Celsius. Boiling temperature is T sat. Here it is 263.9. So from 263.9, we have increased temperature up to 300 degrees Celsius. So that difference I have taken. In our case, it is 36.1. Fine. So by using this formula, we can find out. But if we know this value, CPS value, if it is given, then we can use this formula. Now, if we don't know this value, then how to calculate H total at 300 degrees Celsius? When pressure is 50 bar, temperature is 300 degrees Celsius, how much will be the enthalpy of that steam? How to find out? We don't know CPS value. If we know CPS value, then we put CPS value here. Specific heat of steam that we will put here. Difference is known, 36.1, and we can calculate it easily. But we don't know CPS value. Specific heat of steam is not known. Specific heat of vapor is not known. So in that case, we will use superheated table. See, this table I'm using is table number 2. Okay, this is what? Table number 2. So here I am using now table number 3. Table number 2 is this much longer. Now see, I have come to table number 3. In table number 3, what values are given? It is superheated steam at various pressure and temperature values are given. Okay. So when pressure is 0.005 and then what will be the saturation temperature? 32.9 is the saturation temperature. Okay, in bracket it is given. See, if pressure is 1 bar, then saturation temperature is 99.6. If pressure is, let's say, 20 bar, then saturation temperature is 212.4. Okay, we have to find it out. We have to find out temperature for 50 bar. So at 50 bar, how much is the saturation temperature? 263.9. That we have already written here. 263.9. Fine. What we have to see at 50 bar, when pressure is 50 bar and temperature is, see here temperatures are given 200, 250, 300, 350, 400, 450. Okay, these are the superheated temperature. Direct values are given. Means if pressure is 50 bar and temperature is 300 degrees Celsius. If pressure is 50 bar and temperature is 300 degrees Celsius, how much will be the enthalpy? How much will be the enthalpy? This value. This value is directly mentioned here. 50 bar and 300. So this column. See, this is volume, this is internal energy, and this is the enthalpy that we have to calculate. The value given is 2924.5. Here H total at P is equal to 50 bar and T is equal to 300 degrees Celsius. The value given in steam table is this 2924.5. 2924.5 kilojoule per kg. So this way we can calculate the enthalpy value. Also the entropy value is given. Entropy value is given. That is S value is given. S value is how much? Here you can see S value is 6.208. 6.208 kilojoule per kg Kelvin. Okay, volume is given. Internal energy is given. So this way we can find out the various enthalpies at various vapor pressure and saturation temperatures. So this is about various properties of a steam, and also we are seeing how to read a steam table. If you have any doubt, please comment me and you can WhatsApp me also. Thank you.